Okay, so I had just recorded a stalker who was trying to instigate a conflict with me, and I really wanted to just go over the tactics that stalkers use and maybe the possible motives. And I know that a lot of you have suggested that this is some sort of Freemason thing or whatever, and it's not, has nothing to do with race. I mean, we don't know the motives of the people, but what I can pretty much promise you guys is that it's some sort of entrapment operation where in which they instigate a conflict so that you will get into some sort of legal trouble, or or something along those lines, most likely. So, like, in case you guys are wondering, like, if you're the type of guy, like, let's just say you're just like the type of guy who doesn't really do anything wrong, in a situation in which these people want you to do something wrong, they kind of create an atmosphere that would encourage you to be what they want you to be. So, like, I never really got into trouble in my entire life. And, I came out here and it was just like they were trying to provoke me to a life of crime. And when that didn't work, they basically just started instigating conflict so that, I would hit somebody and then they could say, crazy N-word or something. The theory is that, especially in these southern areas, they make it so that you are what they want you to be. And that's a theory that I haven't really discussed. So the gang stalkers will sort of keep poking and prodding you in order to get you pissed. And then when you get pissed, they can have, you can, like, let's assume that idiot would pretend he's not doing anything, but we all know he's doing something. So I go over there and I confront him. Now, if I confront him, the other ones can pretend to be witnesses. They can say, well, we just saw this guy lose his shit, and he just, he's some crazy minority lunatic, so it sort of fits the narrative. Like, oh, this crazy minority lunatic, he's some wild criminal, and he went over there and attacked this guy for no reason, and this good decent white man. So I'm not, but you got to think about it. You have to think about it, and this is why the racism theory makes a lot of sense. You got to think about it. If you were a group of racist white people, and colored people, in your mind, colored people should be criminals, all of them. They all should be bad. And what if they weren't bad? Well, couldn't you just make them that way? Like, you could make them that way. If they weren't naturally that way, maybe you could just instigate it so that you made it that way. You create your enemy. You create your enemy. Your enemy doesn't exist, but you can create one. So the theory is that the reason why minorities are targeted more than any other group is because if a minority is not naturally a bad person, then maybe they can make him into one by instigating. Like, so this guy, the operation could be a white supremacist operation designed to create the enemy minority that they talk about. Like, they'll say, oh, these brown people are bad people. Well, we're not bad people, but they can make us into one with something along like this. They can create that. And this is another theory. Like I said, we don't know what these people's motives are. I can tell you what, though, they definitely want to instigate some trouble with me. That's what the operation is about. Creating conflict. So you had the 3 gang stalkers that were surrounding me. If I went over there and knocked this guy out, let's assume I did that, they would be like, oh shit, look, crazy brown guy, he attacks a white man. We witnessed it. They call the cops. I get arrested. You see, like, and what are you going to tell the police? What are you going to tell them? He's a gang stalker? They'd say you're crazy. The point being is that's the perfect way to turn a brown person into the crazed minority lunatic that they want to tell you, they want to say that. These other, like, you'll see black people mainly involved, black women, and a lot of, like, if you go on Reddit, black women are mainly the type that you would see the most. I mean, a lot of these people are probably drug addicts, the gang stalkers. These people, like, think about the type of people you see. I mean, a lot of them look like they're fiends and addicts and shit. I mean, you have one of these white nationalists go into some hood and just offer them drugs in order to do that shit. I mean, a lot of you guys that talk about Freemasons, I have to be honest, like if you've seen a lot of these stalkers, they don't look like Freemasons, they look like addicts, okay? I mean, Freemasons, they're not wearing robes and look all like they, you know, it's part of some sort of fraternal order. They look like some people they pulled off the streets. And I'm just being honest, like I mean, you go find some fucking crackhead woman and, you know, in the projects or the ghetto of this area, and give them some drugs, and they'll do. You think, how many questions do you think some fiend is going to ask? They hand them what, like maybe $100 worth of rock, and that's it. I mean, it's not that complicated. Like, it wouldn't be that difficult. And then that works on two ways. First, you have basically cheap labor. You know, you give them some drugs and they'll do whatever the fuck you want. That's not expensive. You have loyalty because they're going to want to keep getting high, so you have the loyalty of them. And okay, you have the racist narrative. Well, you can sort of say it's not about race because look, a brown person did it. So you can just sort of shelf the whole race argument, even though, let's be honest, I mean, it probably is. Okay, so I want to be clear about this. I live in a very hateful southern area, and it seems highly likely that these people are racist. It really does. I mean, you know, and a lot of you guys are coming up with other theories. I was like, I don't know. I mean, I'm just saying, maybe not, maybe it's something else. But a lot of these people don't look like Freemasons or like they're part of a fraternal order. They look like drug addicts. So, I mean, I don't know what to tell you guys. Maybe, I don't know. It could be spiritual. You know, I like the spiritual theory as well, but you know, these people are pretty hateful. I don't know. I mean, like I said, I'll allow you to, I just give you theories, you know, like I don't know for certain, none of us do. But, you know, the people obviously are trying to instigate a fight because most likely they don't like the idea that I'm not a criminal, and so they want to turn me into one because they just don't like that idea, because Hitler said that we're all criminals and they have to sort of make sure that Hitler didn't get it wrong or something along those lines. I mean, we cannot rule that theory out. We can't. Especially consider what we know about the United States history. I mean, come on, man. This country has been on this same shit since its fucking founding, and now you guys are pretending that it's impossible. Except history differs, okay? History is not agreeing with that. And I'm gonna go ahead and close out now.